Okay, let's get this over with. What is up, everybody? It is your local Ottawa fan, and I am here today to talk to you about the round 2, game 4, 2-1 overtime loss to the now back-to-back Walter Cup champion, Minnesota Frost. I've heard from a lot of Charge fans that I am like an outlet for their feelings, which, you know, I'm very honored and I'm very thankful to hear that. And I feel like we've got so many mixed emotions right now. Because this hurts. I mean, this stings bad. I've seen some painful losses in my time as a sports fan. I'm a Niners fan in the NFL, and so I watched 2023, Super Bowl go to overtime, and we lost. And that hurt. And 2017 Sens Eastern Conference Final, Game 7. This one's going to take a while. I'm not going to get any sleep. No, I am not. Like, this one just hurts. It really does. And I'm still so proud. And I still have a lot of optimism for the future. For one, I think our biggest positive, the Alana Kloss Award for playoff MVP goes to Gwyneth Phillips, and she is fully deserving of it. There's no player who is more valuable to her team throughout the playoffs than Gwyneth Phillips. 954 save percentage, I believe, 115 GAA throughout the postseason. It's a shame she didn't win a cup with those numbers. This is her rookie season. Like, this might not even be her prime. This probably isn't her prime, actually. Can you imagine her in 5 years from now? I mean, how is anyone ever going to score a goal on her? I think we're going to see her win another Alana Kloss, and I think she'll be on the winning side this time. But to come so close and yet be so far, it hurts. And a big reason why is because of the journey. It's a long journey, and we're back to square one. And it's easy to say that everyone is, but are we? Minnesota still gets the banner, the parade, the rings, the trophy. And we're back to zeros. We get to look forward to the award show and the draft. I'm glad those are in Ottawa. I hope I get to go to the draft. That'd be awesome. But we're reset. And this group felt special. And we're going to be losing 4 players. At least, because free agency also is a thing. So it's going to be a different team. Now, the good news is it's going to be a different team. We were this close. Every single loss was an overtime loss throughout the playoffs. Every single loss in the finals, 2-1. Every game was a 2-1 overtime game. Every single one. We quite literally were a couple goals away from winning the cup. If we get an extra goal in game 2 and game 3, if we get an extra goal in game 2 and game 4, if we get an extra goal in game 3 and game 4, if we get 2 more goals, a couple more goals, we win the cup. And yet we didn't. But I remember when we were, and I get our defense still needs some cleaning up and we still have some bad turnovers, but I remember when it was really bad. And it cost us a lot more. And we gave up a lot more goals last season. And honestly, through the first half of this season. And we started to clean that up. And we started to play a little bit better. I trust that we could do the same on our offense. Early in this game, Minnesota takes a tripping penalty. I thought the first period started out pretty even. and the power play was abysmal. We got nothing done. It was at a point where I was like, can we just decline the penalty? Like, all we've done is give them the momentum of killing a penalty. It was not good. And, you know, I thought it gave Minnesota some momentum, and when we kind of were getting back into it, we take a penalty of our own that goes into the second period. I felt the second period, Minnesota dominated. They go bar down, you know, nothing Phillips can do there. They take the 1-0 lead, and we head into the third period, where I felt we played better, but I don't think, you know, it was our best period. But there was pushback. Danielle Serdachny to Vanni Shova, who I thought was kind of quiet throughout the playoffs. She scores what could have been the biggest goal of her life. She ties the game up 1-1. We head to overtime. We had a good overtime. I honestly thought it was our best overtime of the series. I thought we played really well. We had a lot of good chances, a lot of good shots. We came so damn close. So damn close. And yet, Rzova goes down with an injury, and it's not dirty. It's not a penalty. And it's not like she's lying on the ice all the time. She did make it to the bench, which is a good sign. But Minnesota, back the other way. They score. That's that. It's the series. This shouldn't hurt as much as it does. That's what happens when you care about a team. And yeah, that was the game. That was the series. That was the season. I'd like to see in the offseason improvements for the power play and the offense. But I also want to make it clear how damn proud I am of this team. Like, I don't know, I think now is not the time, to be like saying, oh, we got to change everything. Like, no, like, we came close. You know, run it back, you know. But also, run it back, we're going to lose a bunch of players. And here's the thing, and I also felt this for the Red Blacks in the sense, and I think I feel this for the Charge. It can hurt, and you can also be proud. And you look at where we were last season. Missed the playoffs entirely to making the finals. We're the only team that legitimately improved upon where we were last season. New York stagnated, right? Last place, first overall pick. Last place, first overall pick. Boston regressed, went from the finals to missing the playoffs. Toronto and Montreal, they both basically stagnated. Toronto got technically slightly worse because they lost in 4 instead of 5, and Montreal technically slightly better because they lost in 4 instead of 3. But ultimately, round 1 eliminations, stagnation. Minnesota, stagnation because they cannot go any further. They can't get any higher. The only place they can go is down or stay the same. They stay the same. They win again. Again, similar to Montreal, where they got technically better, you know, because they won both rounds in 4 instead of 5. But we're the only team that went from out of the playoffs to in the finals. And that's a significant leap. Not just make the playoffs, which still probably would have been considered a successful season. But we won a round. We're the first Canadian team to win a round. First Canadian team to make the finals. You know, we have that too. Like, for until they do the thing. Until Montreal or Toronto do the thing. They get, you know, they got some attitude after a win. We can now hit them with, oh yeah, call me when you win a series. We can do that. We're one of 3 teams to win a series. Some team that's not the Minnesota Frost beats us. Yeah, call us when you win a series. Okay, the Boston Fleet, but they missed the playoffs last year. We made the finals. Call me when you win a series. We can use that line now. That's pretty good. But I was reminded about the pain of the playoffs. I want, specifically with the Red Blacks, I want to quickly use the Red Blacks. as the example. And for those of you that don't know, I also cover the CFL, the Ottawa Redblacks. If that's something that interests you, you know, the CFL series, and it's rearing its head. It's right around the corner. I'm also going to make more PWHL videos. Obviously, every season I'm making more, but I want to make stuff on the awards and the draft and the expansion draft and, you know, free agency and just my general thoughts on that. So, you know, there's going to be more PWHL videos as well that I'll try to sprinkle throughout. So if you are interested in that, you know, like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe. Please, if anything. You know, that's one good thing that comes out of this. I've met so many awesome people. You know, I've gotten so many kind-hearted messages. And I've seen this channel grow. And it's touched my heart. It really has. Like, you are awesome. All of you are awesome. And I love the PWHL community. I really do. It's so welcoming. And I feel like I belong. And I really appreciate that. And for those of you that have, you know, laughed at my misery or celebrated the triumphs with me or whatever else, I'm happy. If you're here to see sad Ottawa fan be sad, you know what? Welcome. Like, happy to have you, honestly. Like, you know, hit the subscribe button, though, please. You know, if you're a Minnesota fan, just here to celebrate in my misery, you know what? I get it. I do. But please, just ring that bell or something. Do something. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Say, lol, Lamau even. And, you know, I've had some fun, right? Like, you know, I'm the one that said, you know, oh, happy Toronto Scepters Elimination Day. So, yeah, Toronto fans, here you go. Here's your moment. In front in the sun. But it's honestly a great community. And I've seen, you know, I've gotten some shout-outs. I got to do a CTV interview. Like, I love this community. And I love the PWHL. And I'm really passionate about it. And it means the world to me that so many of you watch my videos. And for those of you that also tune in to the CFL videos, you can remember that last season, yes, the Ottawa Redblacks did the thing. They made the playoffs, which was, in my opinion, the goal that year. And they lost to Toronto in the first round. They kind of had the inverse of the Ottawa Charge. Hot start, rocky finish. I felt the Charge had a, you know, rocky start, hot finish. And then in the postseason, they gave Toronto a fight at first, but it, you know, it wasn't meant to be, and the wheels kind of fell off at the end of the fourth quarter. But what were we able to say? Well, this is laying the foundation of what's to come. It's laying the groundwork. Look at what just happened with the Sens. You know, finally they make it back to the playoffs after, like, a forever missing it. The last time we made it was 2017. We finally make it back. Again, round one against Toronto. We do give them a fight. Looks like we're going to get blown out. And then we give them a bit of a fight. We give them a little bit of a scare. Ultimately, it's too little too late. And we got eliminated. But what do we say? We're laying the foundation. We're laying the groundwork. Those were round one eliminations. The foundation that we've just laid is taking the defending champions and going blow for blow for them in the finals. You know, our foundation is beating the best team in the league, facing the defending champion, giving them a really good fight in the finals. That's a good foundation. That's something you can build on. The foundation is a rookie goaltender who wins playoff MVP and who has nowhere to go but up, and who's probably going to get better. And she's already maybe the best goaltender in the league. I think within a season or two, she definitely will be the best goaltender in the league. There's lots of positives. There's lots of things that we can build on. But here's the thing that is worrisome. You can never be sure that the foundation has set. What if the Red Blacks miss the playoffs? What if they lose in round 1 to Toronto again? What if the Sens and Red Blacks lose in round 1 to Toronto? And once you set that foundation, don't the expectations change? You got to start building on that. Is another round 1 elimination okay? Because let's be honest, I think going into this season, a lot of Charge fans, the expectation was to make the playoffs and, put up a fight, at least win a game. I think going into next season, the expectation is pretty well going to be win the cup. Like, you came close, you almost did it. Now Phillips is going to be starting probably just about every game. She's probably going to take like 20 out of 30 games between the pipes. She's going to be our starter. And I think if she starts 20 games, we're probably going to win at least 13 of them. And I think with Maschmeyer, well, at that point, all she needs to do is win like 3 of 10. She'll probably win us at least 4 of 10 and get us like 2 other overtime games. I could see us being a top-seeded team next season, especially if in the offseason we address some of our issues. And like I said, I felt like halfway through the season we started to address some issues. And now I think it's very obvious that our biggest issue is offense and goal scoring, or lack thereof. And if we focus on that, we can be successful. And I believe in this management, in this coaching staff, and their ability to remedy those issues. Because we played good hockey throughout the season, but especially from the second half on. From the second half on, we played really good hockey. In the playoffs, we played really good hockey. It wasn't quite enough this year, but I think with improvements, it might be enough next year. And to tell you all a story, I know I'm going back to the CFL, but in season 1 of the Red Blacks returning to the CFL, they missed the playoffs. Kind of stinky season, Throw that one in the garbage. Season 2, they greatly improved upon where they were in the previous season. They played 2 rounds in the postseason, semifinals and finals. They won the semis. They got to the finals. For a second there, it looked like they were going to win it, but ultimately it got away from them and they lost. And then in their 3rd season of existence, same thing, 2 rounds in the postseason. In round 1, they faced the team that beat them in the finals the previous year. They took them behind the tool shed and absolutely gave them a spanking, got to the finals, and this time they won the damn thing. So I've seen some parallels, Season 1, missed the playoffs, stinky season, forget about that. Season 2, great improvement, huge improvement. Win the semifinals, get to the finals. For a second there, it looks like we're going to do it. It gets away from us. We can't quite finish the job. So season 3, finish the narrative, complete the cycle. And I do have faith that we are capable of doing that. I really, really, really do have that faith. I have that optimism, and I think that's a good thing that I have that optimism. And I think Charge fans should. And for those of you that come to me to try to put your finger on what you're trying to say, I think that this stings, this hurts, this is the worst, and also it gives us a lot to believe in. Way more than last season. I'm not in the clown outfit, okay? You know why? Because there's nothing to laugh at. They put everything out there. They impressed everybody. They proved a lot of people wrong. We played a good series. We played a good season. We took out the number 1 team in the league. We did it in 4 games. By the way, just a tangent, last season, every single series ended in 3 or 5 games. No series ended in 4. This season, every single series ended in 4. So who knows what next year is going to bring. But we played well. We impressed. We've set a good foundation. And it's going to suck. We're going to lose some players. But also, we might get some new ones, right? Free agency. Target offensively gifted players. Target goal scorers. Work on our offense, especially passing. No poor passes. I thought we did better this game. But, shooting the puck needs to be a priority. Getting those dirty goals needs to really, I think, be a priority. I think a few more greasy goals could go a long way for us. It sucks, and also, they played good. And they shouldn't be ashamed of how they played. Nothing but pride. Nothing but pride. And I guess that's it. That's the season. One or two last things I'm going to say. I'm going to use Steve Dangle as the example. I know I've compared myself to him on occasion. You remember when the Leafs lost to the Capitals? There wasn't a lot of yelling and screaming there. He was upset, but it was ultimately just, hey, they put up a fight. They laid the foundation. And then when they ran into the same problems over and over and over again, did the anger build. And while, the offensive not there-ness hurt us in both seasons, this is different. This is different from last season. Very different from last season. If we, lose in the finals all the time, obviously my tune would change. But right now, I have 100% faith that we will be different. And that's why I'm not super upset at, I'm upset, but, there's two kinds of upset. There's the, sad upset and there's the angry upset. And I'm the sad upset, but I'm not the angry upset. Because I have faith. I have a lot of faith in this team, in this organization, in its management, its staff, and its players, and in our ability to come back even better next year. And the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. You know what? I'm confident that, I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I really do think that by the end of the decade, we will have won a Walter Cup based off of how they've played this season. It's encouraging. It gives very encouraging signs that will eventually come to pass. Because they've shown improvement already. But it sucks. I guess that's it. So like I said, I'm going to be making a few more PWHL videos. So please comment, subscribe, for that. And if you are interested in CFL, even if you're not, but you want to see more of my beautiful mug. Yeah, this ugly mug right here. If you want to see more of it, I'll be talking about the CFL. And if you're I don't know, give it a watch, right? You might like it. You might just absolutely find a new sport that you can fall in love with. And to everyone who's watched my videos, laughed with me or at me, made fun of me for my team losing or celebrated alongside me when we won, cried when we lost. For those of you who are fellow Ottawa Charge fans, who feel like their voice is being heard. For those of you who aren't Ottawa Charge fans, but are happy to hear the perspective of somebody else. For everybody who's ever tuned in. For those who want to see what your local Ottawa fan has to say about this game, you mean the world to me. And you've made it so much more fun to be a fan of this league and of this team. And I can't think of a better community to be a part of. You are the best. I guess the real championship is the friends we made along the way. No, but seriously, it means a lot. I hope to see a lot of you in my CFL videos, and definitely in my PWHL videos. That's it for this season. Thank you all for tuning in all season long. I look forward to making more videos, and as always, go Ottawa.